Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day this may find you. Good to see everybody. Thanks for joining. Much appreciated. Hope you all had a good week wherever you may be, whatever you may be doing. Ryan West was gracious enough to come by and open the door for everybody, much like he does every week. But he's not going to be sticking around because he's going to the farmer's market. Thanks again, Ryan. He brought it to my attention that today was the 200th live stream. So I had to go and check because I didn't know. It is not. For whatever reason, I had one of the unlisted actual plays of Delta Green in this playlist. So it's like 198. So today is 199. Next weekend it'll be 200. I totally didn't even think about it. So yeah, thanks for being along the ride and journey. How's everybody doing? I was just reading on Blue Sky. If you don't follow All the Right Movies account, they used to be on Twitter. I don't know if they still cross-post to Twitter. But all the right movies is pretty good. It's a podcast. I think some of it's behind a paywall, unfortunately, but they do these, and I think I've mentioned this before. They do, I think every Saturday, they do one long thread about a particular movie, and today's was Point Break. Rock on, dude! Johnny Utah. Point Break, 34 years ago. Point Break was released. So if that doesn't make you old, well, good. Congratulations. For those of you that are like, huh? Point Break? Didn't that just come out like a few years ago? No comment. Jake, whoops. Yeah, things are moving around. Jake, good to see you. Morning. Stay safe if the storms get crazy. Aragon, good to see you, buddy. Mike, Shanbot, Gabe, as they say, the usual suspects. Could probably put them all up in a lineup and give Kaiser Salze a run. Orcus Dorcas, what are you doing here? No AC. Oh my goodness. And you have a computer on. I should add more heat to the heat. Laramie, good to see you. Thanks, Blake, for the 5x5. Jeff, good to see you. William, good to see you. Farty, good to see you. Mike, thanks for the sound check. Mr. White, good to see you. We are so good. Okay, all right. Cognizant, good to see you. Wayne, morning. Good group today. Some regulars. Nubis. I know, 34 years, bro. Johnny Utah. Any famous lines? I always like the title song by Rat, one of my personal faves growing up. Rat was the first in-person concert I saw. Kind of. Mainstream. I think I saw Bryan Adams at like Summerfest. I don't count that. Rat was the first one. Bon Jovi opened for him. 7,800 degree Fahrenheit tour. I think the Rat tour was Invasion of Your Privacy. There you go. Look at that. Michael Holland, good to see you. Joe, good morning. Good to see you. Kristen, morning. All right, I think I'm caught up. Probably a few people that'll trickle in here and there. I am an FBI agent. Cognizant, congratulations. You are the recipient of a gifted sub or membership, whatever. Sub, Twitch, right? Gifted membership by my ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. Thanks, ear trumpet. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you, by the way. Speaking of Kickstarters, because Blake mentioned them up above, just mailed off Rustwater to backers yesterday. Check your inboxes, people. I don't have a topic today. Go figure. I don't know, man. I just sometimes like, I don't know. I don't know what to talk about. And I'd much rather turn it over to you guys and see what's going on. Who knows? Something will come out of it. Maybe, maybe not. Scotchy, good to see you. Glad I caught this. 10 p.m. here. Been enjoying a lot of your videos recently. Thank you, Scotchy. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. And thanks for chiming in and letting everybody know you're here. You're in good company. I know we got lurkers, and that's okay. I like lurkers too. Nothing wrong with sitting back and just taking it all in, if you will. I'll start out. Like, I was going through Gamehole Con's events. Gamehole Con in Madison, Wisconsin. If you haven't been to Gamehole Con, it's a good, I would say, mid-level con. Right? It's pretty decent size, but it's not on the level of PAX or Gen Con or Origins or what's some of those, or even UK Expo, Game Expo, Essen. Like, those are the juggernauts, right? But it's a local con I enjoy, and they stopped event submission. Like, we're full. We can't take any more events. So I was going through a lot of them, and I'm like, oh, man. It's amazing to me sometimes when I look at some, especially like Gamehole Cons, I don't know. It's not, they've got a big AL presence for sure. No question about it. They have their own campaign setting for like Adventurers League. And I have been told and informed that it is the biggest Adventurer League's gaming, our tabletop RPG convention presence. Like, it's a crazy, like, so, but not to be confused with like AD&D convention. It's not that. There's plenty of games, but man, I was kind of like, because I have to start a game at like 9 o'clock. That's going to run about 4 hours. So the next game's going to be right around 1 or 2. So I'm going through those 2 time slots. Usually keep the evenings free to hang out with the gang that comes in and play some off-book stuff. And it's like, I don't know what to search for. Like, I don't know what's itching at me to play at the convention. This year, I think I'm going to go off of GMs. So even if it's a GM that I haven't run with, but I know, like Corey Scanlon, some of you may not know Corey. He was local here. I think he moved, but every year I see him. Good guy. We have some common friends, and I know his significant other actually worked with her, kind of. Same place Brett and I worked, but always a pleasure to see them at the convention. And so I know Corey has run some pretty decent games. I think he's run Fallout and dressed up in cosplay for it to run it. And he's run Star Wars Saga Edition. It's just not it's not the latest and greatest. I think this year he's running Outgunned. And of course I've played Outgunned. Mirko Froelich, Digital Hobbit friend, played in his Outgunned game off books last year. Fun time. So it's not like Outgunned, but I'm interested to see how Corey runs a game, because I've heard good things about how he runs a game, and I haven't done it. And he's been at Gamehole Con for, I don't know, probably the 10 years, 11 years they've been around. So I may be start doing that. Craig, and I can't remember his last name. Craig Brown. Craig Brown's another one who is in the area, and he's always running a free league game. And one year he ran my first Tales from the Loop game that I've ever played in. Good GM. Liked it, enjoyed it, may sign up with him. I think this year he is running Tales from the Flood game. So I may do that. But I'm not into the big name games. Skeeter Green, who is I think he has his own publishing publishing company, but he's also done a lot of work for Frog God and is close associates with Zach Glazer and some of the folks over there. Skeeter comes. I know of him. I don't know him really well, but he's running a Call of Cthulhu game that is the whole weekend, like 8 hours, I think, a day, or 6 hours a day. $140 ticket. $140 event ticket. I know Demon Grinder, who doesn't live far from me. Some of us met him and talked to him last year at the soiree, if you will, who played in a Call of Cthulhu game the whole weekend. Him and his buddy signed up, and like, I don't know if it was 12 hours, 8 hours. It was like a 72-hour. No, that seems a little far-fetched. Was it like a 36-hour game or something like that? We were talking to him about that experience. And even with the game master, the keeper that was running that game, and like what happens if you have a player character die? How do you integrate the new character? It's like some nuances that, you have a con game. It's a one shot. What happens when you're having people pay for like an entire weekend event? How do you handle? Like, there's different things you have to consider that you wouldn't consider in a normal game. So, anyways, I'm just kind of rambling on about going through some of the event list at that convention. And I don't know, man. I love Gamehole Con. It's well run. It's a great convention. But I don't know if I'm overly thrilled about some of the game choices that are being offered. I'm not sure why. I don't know. It's probably a me thing, right? It's not like the catalog, because there's plenty of different games. I don't know if I haven't checked, but I don't know if there's a single Delta Green game, which is a crime, and leaves me to think, I should have submitted a Delta Green game, right? And represent. So anyways, just, something that I was thinking about lately. And I got them added to my wish list. And the tricky thing is what happens if I I just want this person's game. And they're not like, I didn't really finish my thought. I'm not into the big Chris Perkins game, right? Or Zeb Cook, I think, is going to be their second edition. I know Jim, he may be joining us. I don't know. But Jim is going to join one of his games. I think he's kind of got some, he appreciates some of the 2E stuff that he had played back in the day and wants to get Zeb's, autograph or, to sign his book. But so I'm not caught up with like playing with a big name to experience whatever they have to offer. Although it may be like a case-by-case basis, right? Like, if Shane Ivey or Dennis Detwiller were to come and run Delta Green, I'd be all on board, right? So I'd be like, yes, because I want to see that experience. There are a lot of Shadowdark games, probably more so than I've ever seen. And I'm on that bandwagon. I'm running a Shadowdark game there at Gamehole Con. It kind of makes me think I'll just kind of like to run something that's a little unique that people want to sign up for versus like, here's, 150 Shadowdark games and Sean's in there somewhere, right? So last year I ran Deathmatch Island. I was the only one, as far as I know, running Deathmatch Island. Yeah, so there anyways. Lurkin, look at this guy. Zeal, good to see you. Thanks for piping up. Shambot says, I had the same idea, Sean. I've been narrowing it down with that in mind. Yeah. I mean, there's also, I see his name and I see his face. He runs a lot of Gumshoe. And I was in a Knights Black Agents with him. I think his name's Todd, if I'm not mistaken. Todd, and then his last name escapes me. Dude. Names. And the Knights Black Agents game, he's a good, I find it awesome and I appreciate it when I find a GM that kind of stays in their lane because they like if they're a good game master, obviously, right? But I find that if they have a really big passion for a particular game, they probably run a decent game. Not always. It's not always the rule. But case in point, every year I run a game at Gamehole Con, I probably run a different game. What does that say? I might not be the best game master with that particular game, right? If you are, I am Free League devout, and that's all I run at conventions is Free League games, chances are you're probably pretty decent with the YZE, and it's, you probably run a fairly decent game across some of those, I would think. At least that's my experience. Like Craig Brown, I'm sure if he runs, I don't know if he runs Alien. I mean, he sounds like a Tales from the Flood. I think one year he ran the newest one, whatever it was. I can't remember. I don't know if he runs Dragonbane or anything like that, but choosing it by GM is probably a better plan than choosing by game. My favorite game run by an asshat would not be fun, for sure. Like Carl Kiesler, right? I've brought up Carl. Some of the folks in the chat have played with Carl Kiesler. If you ever get an opportunity to play with Carl Kiesler, big production value, graphic artist, makes really good mashups. Huge Savage Worlds fan. He runs a lot of Savage Worlds. Trailer Park Shark or whatever game, and Goonies meets Ghostbusters. Like, he must not be coming this year, because I think I did a search for his last name and he's not on the menu, which is unfortunate. But I mean, the guy probably goes to, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 conventions a year, so I imagine it's not easy to get to all of those, especially like even Madison, Wisconsin. But yes, I would agree. Like, oh, Carl's coming, probably should sign up, and his events will go quickly. Is some folks in the local Madison convention may not even know who he is, but I guarantee after a weekend or even 2 conventions, his games will never have an empty seat. They'll just know who he is by walking by and seeing pictures on his Instagram. And oh, wonderful. What's this about? Oh, hold on a second. Got an emergency call. Wanted to make sure. Not an emergency. We interrupt this stream. About 30. There he is. Aaron says about 36 hours. It was pretty awesome. Aaron was the gentleman who did the 36-hour Call of Cthulhu game. Well, I think I've asked you this before, Aaron. You do it again? Would you do it again? You gonna do it this year with Skeeter? I don't know. Was Skeeter the guy that did it for you last year? I don't think it was. I think it was a different person, right? Jeff says, when going to a con, play the games you don't normally get to play. I totally agree with that. We all have plenty of opportunities to play 5e tryout Green Oaks, for sure. For sure. Pretty sad about missing Gamehole Con. I hope everyone has a great time. You will be missed, Kristen. Sorry you can't make it. Green Oaks last night. Yes, Laramie. Okay, Laramie, I want to know the name of your character, because the naming in Green Oaks is the name, something they've done in the past, and then like what, current or something like that. It's like a tag or whatever, right? Oh, okay, so it's closer to 45 hours. I'm gonna run Green Oaks off grid. So I'll put it out there to the gang. I'm gonna bring props. I even thought of bringing like gray hairspray, and my wife's like, "Yeah, they have it. I use it on my own hair." She puts in like a white streak, so she every once in a while like touches that up. So apparently it's like, yes. So if somebody really wants to go bonkers and spray their hair gray for the game, dude, I am all in for it. Got to find a mega. The tricky thing is I want to get a mega. I want to get a mega hat, but I don't want to pay for it because then I'm contributing to mega. Oh, that would be. So let me get this straight. You bought that? Oh shit. Wow. Just run Delta Green for our SD players without telling them. Oh, yes, right? Okay, everybody. Here we go. Just let me pass out these character sheets. Or even just keep this Shadowdark character sheets and start narrating. Okay, so you're all kind of in your apartments and you get this call from, you probably are gathered, whatever, and you find yourself in the back office of a post office in San Francisco in 1996. And a person walks in, and, and then the briefing starts to take place. Or like, Skeeter, not sure I wanted the game though. Not even the money. I just don't want the whole weekend used. Yeah, that's kind of me too. Sean should run 12-hour Delta Green game. Would you play in it, Gabe? Did you play in a 12-hour game? I don't know if I could do 12. I could do 8. Like I could do a 2 slot. I don't know. Hey, Aaron, when you come up with a number, just let me know, dude. What? Tell me no. We're playing prices right, not going over or under. Closest to the hour. What makes a good convention game, GM? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about convention games or just conventions in general. So first off, I'm glad, Mike. That's a good point. We'll segment into that. Why not? How many of you have not been to a game con? Have not been to a gaming convention? Because I think the majority have. But I'm interested if you have not. Don't be shy. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not for everybody. I'm just curious. I don't think variety is a measure of GM quality. Perhaps you focus on providing a range of flavors to a hungry audience. Yes, of course. Stefan. This guy. Good to see you, man. That was Carl calling. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to be there. What are you saying? What are you talking about? Jake, I could barely make an 8-hour game these days. 36 hours reminds me of being so much younger when a weekend was all gaming, Mountain Dew, and pizza. My body would murder me now. Those were the good times, man. Well, that's the thing, man. We're young. Indestructible, man. Indestructible. Now, I pull my hamstring in the shower. We had a great time, but that's all you do for the whole weekend. I might do it again, but probably not at the con. The GM is named Don. He's from Chicago, has been running COC for a few decades. Yeah. Okay, thanks, man. My voice wouldn't last for 36 hours. Kudos to any GM who can pull off that feat of fortitude. Agreed. Con game needs to be able to handle a group of randos. For sure. There's Jim. Morning, Jim. There's Nick. Dude, you coming up? You coming up? Come on, man. You gotta come up. I need to see Nick. I can't do it this year. Maybe next year, right? The event, you can't even submit an event now. Like, it's done. I could do open gaming, but then you're like, what does that mean? You got to if you got a 6 to 8 hour game, you got to get it on the grid. It's not a pickup game. It's never going to fly. You can't say some rando like, hey, don't have any plans for the next 8 hours? Lester Van Noos. Van Voos. We used only the random tables for background. I got formed psychopath retired engineer hobby of cartomancy. Cartomancy? Is that? It's not ecromancy. It's necromancy. So is it cartomancy? I don't know. Wish could attend Game HoCon this year. Sean and I could play with each other. Dude, am I like flush? Am I red? Thanks, Stefan. Have not been. Zeal. Okay. Having said thank you for stepping up, what is keeping you from a convention game? Is it like there isn't one local? Is it just not your thing? You know, just don't want to go and hang, you know, it's too many people. It's too much of a thing. Sometimes it's just, I like gaming with my own peeps, which I think is pretty common. Like the people that don't go to gaming conventions is like, I don't enjoy other games. I'm good with my own home group. So just curious. William, same question. Thanks for chiming up. Never attended Aaron. Okay. All right. Are you so, you know, do you want to? Do you have any ambition to, or does it not interest you? Because you guys may be like, I'm out. Thanks for having, you know, good to stop in, Sean, but, I'm going to go over and do this now. Convention GMs. Harrigan says, morning, Jimbo. Convention GMs need to be able to handle jokers like the ones in our office book games. Sean. Yes. Oh, and he meant off book, I think. Off book games. Yeah, there it is. Off book. Yeah. What he's referring to is a group of us, some are in the chat, will play off book And we all, everybody's kind of got like, they always kind of say, hey, I'm going to run this game. Cool. I'm going to run this game. Cool. And we say it 3 to 6 months out. And we all get there and we're usually done with dinner. And that's like, now what are we going to do? And somebody will say, hey, you want to run that Swords and Wizardry game now, Gabe? And Gabe's like, sure. And then passes out all the sheets. And then it's bust the GM's chops, right? You gotta, if you can run a game for that group, like a group like that, you can run a group, game for almost anybody. Because it's, see if you can crack the GM. Not crass or anything. It's just a tough crowd, I will say. I've gamed all weekends too when younger, yeah. RPG Gen Exile, good to see you. Talking about conventions. I was talking about GameWorld and events, and so I'm interested if anybody's not been to a convention. We've got a handful of folks that have not been. And so Mike had mentioned like what makes a good convention game master, which we'll get to. I don't want to lose that. Laramie, Mike not even saying more, just different as mentioned above. It's randos, not your buddies. It's forcing a pacing to fit in with 4 hours. There's a lot to go. That was my next video. I just haven't gotten it done. It's on running a convention game. Nick says, I think so. I want to play Delta Green. Was thinking about running it too. Yeah, I don't know if there's a single Delta Green game on the catalog, man. It's crazy. That's a lost opportunity. Jim Con Games, take what you think you can get through in 4 hours and cut that in half because you're probably wrong. Right? 2, 3 maybe encounters. Some social play, whatever, and then call it a day. Scotchy McBourbon. Never gone to a con. No opportunity. Is a con game any different from a normal one-shot meetup with strangers? Put that way, probably not. It's a one shot. It is definitely, well, it can be strangers. Sometimes you might have people that join your game. So yes, but most of the times it is strangers, I would say. The majority at the table will be strangers. Fortune telling a deck of cards, don't worry. We had to look it up too. Oh, okay. Thanks, Laramie. There it is. Fortune telling. Okay, got it. All right. I've been enlightened. I've learned. You know what? I come here to learn. You guys don't disappoint. I didn't properly hit a con until 2018, 2019. And Harrigan didn't start playing in those years, by the way. So that is surprising, man. I'm actually surprised at that. Blake says only local con, 100 people. Don't like big crowds, so more than 5,000 for more than 10 minutes would freak me out. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I get it. No knock on people not going to cons. Like, totally understand. But I will say, like, some of the advantages of going to a gaming convention is, case in point, playing many, many different games. So if you're like the forever game master and you want to play, convention. If you are player or game master in a home group and never get to try other games and you're kind of like, I'm kind of getting tired of insert home game here and you want to try something else, conventions, like totally. Another good thing about conventions is as if you're a game master and you get to play, you can learn from other game masters at a convention, right? You could also learn from other game masters in your own group, right? Like my buddy Joe runs a game. I can see how he runs a game, take some notes. I know Joe. You could also say, get into a game at a convention and go, this game master, no bueno for me. Also learning of things not to do if you ever want to game master. Like, God, I hope I might be looking in the mirror like, do I do that? I hope I don't, because if I do, I definitely don't want to anymore. Shambot says, I put forth a WEG Star Wars game at Forge Midwest. Unfortunately, there were about 11 of us pitching games, and I wanted to play in 3 of the others. Myself and another GM ended up with just 1 PC. Yeah. Tim might join in. Hey, Forge Midwest, we don't have a grid. We just kind of get up and muster and throw like suggestions on a whiteboard. Cool. hey, we get together. We don't have a grid. We don't have a pre-reg. We just get together and muster at certain times of the day and put it up on a board. Not so good sometimes. Time, money have been the issue. Fair. Yeah, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. I applaud everybody that comes to Gamehole Con that I personally know. I really thank you guys for coming out. I know it's not easy. You're taking a break. You're taking time off from work. You're taking time away from the family. And it's not cheap. It's not cheap. That is not lost on me. So I always just feel really humbled when I see friends in person that I don't see see online on the Discord server. Some are in my actual group, right? But you're talking 3-4 nights at a hotel, flight, maybe driving. It's definitely some shortcomings on, especially in-person conventions. Aaron says, can't afford the time or the ticket, but one day when I'm all grown up, I will. Hoping to attend BSRCon this next spring. Cool. Nothing wrong with virtual cons. Mike, what keeps me from convention games is not being able to play games I want to get into. Usually by the time I read the games I want out are sold out. Well, that's the rub that I also didn't finish my thought on because I'm like stream of conscious here. Stream, hey-o. Craig Brown's running that game at 1 o'clock. Put it in my wish list. And some of these conventions don't have wish lists. Gamehole Con does. So the point of the wish list is you plop it in there, and then when it's time to register, you just execute wish list, puts it all in your cart, and then you got to check out, and then hopefully when it's all done, it comes out the same on the other end. But it doesn't always happen that way. So you're for me, I'd be putting all my eggs in probably very few baskets. And so if I don't get that game, I'm well, so much for that. So Shambot continues on the Forge Midwest. So we teamed up to play this new system. There you go. Steph, in the last couple of years, my buddies and I would rent a cottage for a weekend to game, but it wouldn't, be more than 6 hours on any one game. Yeah, I could see that. That's a good time. That's what I would like to do someday. Stefan says, but it was a lot of gaming together, plus booze and more, and food and booze. Food and booze. Got it. Orcus Dorcas says, sign of a good con game master is complete awareness of the time window that they have and choosing to run a game that will satisfyingly fit within while being aware that those at your table have other places to be. Yeah. Set time limit. It's also a unique dynamic, right? Whether you know the rules or not, it's kind of the experience that you provide. I've run Savage Worlds, forget about it, before. People show up at the table. How many people have played Savage Worlds before? I played once. Great. Chances are they're not a rules lawyer. None of them know the rules. I tell them I just throw out the rule book, let it run. Very stream of conscious, make fast calls, run over the fundamentals of the game itself, but anything that's getting nuanced, just run with it, right? Make a call on the spot. So it doesn't have to be system mastery. I also think you have to understand the dynamics of the table, because you're going to get a type A, you're going to get somebody that, this is the people that you're going to find at the table. The one is super over enthusiastic, talks. They're the first person that talks. They have no problem talking. And then you're going to have the opposite end. There's going to be one person doesn't say a thing the entire 4 hours. If you allow it, right? They're going to be reserved. They're going to probably be intimidated by some of the other players at the table. You're going to have that person. Then somewhere in the middle as far as personalities. Then I think it kind of gels, but there's always the one on one end, one on the other, and then all the rest are kind of in the middle. And sometimes the rest are trying to kind of balance those two ends. I find some that are well aware, self-aware, and understand the dynamics themselves as players. Like, okay, this guy's never going to shut up. I kind of have to inject myself and also inject the other person that's not getting an opportunity because they're a little reserved, right? Introverted, shy. So a game master has to kind of understand that. Otherwise, you're going to be playing with that one guy or woman the whole time you're there. But yeah, pacing is a big thing. Probably the biggest ones for sure. So games plus rave? Kinda, yeah. I don't know. Jim says it's where all the introverts go to be extroverted for a weekend. Indeed. Mr. White says, I think someone is running Delta Green Caligati with COC rules. Ooh, interesting. I mean, I guess COC, I mean, there's not a huge difference. You're not going to lean on the bonds that much. Well, and frankly, you could probably remove the bonds so they can't project. So then it becomes more, you're going to go insane at the end of this session anyway. So let's just remove the bonds rules. Interesting. Good to know, Mr. White. I'll have to check that out. Stefan says a derivative of cardomancy is hallmarkmancy, the art of sending greeting cards. Hey-o. That's not funny, Stefan. I just wanted, okay, well, maybe a little bit, but it's really, yeah. Mwah, mwah. Great place to see other GMs in action. Yeah, what Sean is saying now. Great place to learn the craft, see new games in action. Yes. That's it. You don't have to autocorrect. Happy iPad. Okay. So true. Love seeing new games in action. Yeah. And you can also have a unique experience. Like some of these game masters, like they just a production, right? They dress up, they do props, they pull it all out. They want to stand out from the crowd. They cosplay, whatever it is. They get hand puppets because you're playing, Call of Cthulhu mashup with, Call of Cthulhu meets the Muppets. Sesame Street. Sorry, not the Muppets. Sesame Street. Yeah, I like to do more cons of work and nights and weekends. I'm keeping a lid on it until the kids are older and don't want to hang out with me. Caligati with COC rules, you're going to lose the lethality rating of guns, so I'm curious if it is going to lose some of the tension for that scenario. Yeah. Love virtual cons. One year played 5 different games. One weekend was fantastic. Totally great option. Don't have to go anywhere. It's cheap because of that. There's a good selection of COC games. I saw that. Maybe I'll play a COC game. I haven't played Call of Cthulhu in a while. And it may be worth it this year. I don't know. GHC can be kind of bad for that. I usually have a couple backups for each slot. Referring to like missing out on a game. Cypher Unlimited. Look at these guys. Good morning. Yeah, check out Cypher Unlimited podcast, right? Community. All about the Cypher system. I've met some of the folks from Cypher Unlimited at GameholeCon in the past. Good group. If you like Cypher System, you guys got to tune into Cypher Unlimited for sure. Good to see you. Thanks for piping in. Appreciate it. Talking about con games. You guys representing at GameholeCon this year, Cypher? See you. And if you attend the same con, Harrigan says, for a bit, you'll make friends. I got plugged into the Denver gaming scene by going to Genghis Khan. That is so true and so not what I've mentioned that I should. Many of the folks, when I go to GameholeCon, I see them. I've even seen them at EverCon. I've seen them at GaryCon. Some of those folks I only see literally once a year. Yes. Many of them. And I talk with them like forever. And invite them to the soiree on Saturday. Rob and Julie is a couple that I love to see every year. Catch up. Rob makes me laugh. He's the big guy, big bald head guy. Looks like Jesse the Ventura, in my opinion. He's got a real raspy voice. Just has a story and just kills me. Scotchy says, that's cool. Learning from a good fellow GM can level your own skills up super fast. Indeed. Orcus is right. Being a good COD GM is totally about time management, playing to the crowd. Orcus, owner of Wand of Death and master of run-on sentences. being a fan of the characters, even though the players can be iffy, and making sure you're running the game they want. Yes, all good stuff. Jim says we had a couple off-book games at the last Gamehole Con where there was probably about 100 years of combined GM experience between all the players at the table. Yeah, for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I warn people that my games are not great at using the rules for that game. I'm also pretty fast and loose. Think what is like, I've who somebody told me it might have been Harrigan. I think it was Harrigan. He went to a local gaming convention. And what is surprising. It's surprising to see some GMs and how they run a gaming convention one-shot session. It is. It's sometimes so, oh my God. Like literally the GM shows up, hands out pre-gens, boom, goes in, right? Like, okay, so they just start the scenario. I think some of the good game master table tents are totally not used as often as they should be, in my humble opinion. So just here is card stock. Some use 3x5 cards. Put your character's name on there, put it on the table so everybody can look at it and refer. Because nobody knows anybody, very rarely. So you might as well refer to everybody in their character's name, put it on there. Put the class on there underneath it. Oh, okay, you're Whizbang the Wizard. Got it. Okay, hey, Whizbang, maybe we should do this. So you can get things clicking pretty quickly that way. Talking about the game. Cats is a great tool. I did a video on this channel about cats. So it's a good brief to get everybody on the same page. And if you have your own version of introducing the game at the convention and how you're going to run and what it's about and whatever, great, right? It doesn't have to be about cats. It's just another concept, aim, tone, subject matter. Boom, 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 boom. Anybody, asking if anybody's played before, who hasn't played before. What the game is. Doesn't take much, I don't think, right? The game crunch window is probably the most intimidating. How do I get everyone involved in that time frame? Table management is key, but it kind of always is. True. Skill of the convention GM is putting up with and supplying a good time to people that annoy you. Well, here's the other thing. Also with game masters, there are some, they know the table, they read the table, they know something is kind of going sideways, but they don't know how to address it. And it's hard. Knock on wood. I think many of us have been blessed with good people at a gaming convention table, but it doesn't happen all the time. And when I talk about the games that really go sideways and having a player just not mesh with the session, the genre, the mechanics, they're maybe very socially not aware of anything, like missing cues. Maybe they're starting to get into some weird territory. And I say weird territory as in maybe they swear too much. They bring up sexual innuendos, very inappropriate for what is going on currently. And that can happen in anywhere. You could go to a social event and run into that person. But when you're at a gaming con and you're running a game, you can't just go, that guy's a little off. I'm going to go over here. Hey, nice talking to you. Good to meet you. Take care. Hey, good to see you guys. I think I see somebody that just came over, so I'm going to go say hello. You're stuck at the table, and there's going to be 3 to 4 or 5 other people that are kind of and they'll know. They'll be like, yeah. So having a break and and let's admit, many of us are very conflict adverse, especially with total randos that we don't know. How do you address the player who may not even be aware that they are not in the same headspace as the rest of us. Some of them may be doing it purposely, but most aren't, right? How do you handle that? Because then the whole table could suffer. And it's like, man. And I'm telling you, knock on wood, I haven't had one of those like sessions where I'm like, I had to pull this person aside and talk to him and say, hey. Awkward. My favorite GM metagame, see how long you could prevent the player trying to steal the spotlight from mentioning their live play or podcast. What are you saying? Listen, we play together, right? Nick, con games are mostly good. Biggest typical problem is noise. Good cons manage this issue really well. North Texas RPG Con, mostly good, friendly people, fun. GMs are a mixed bag, for sure. Well, that's a good point, too. Like, you're having to yell and project. Game master screen's great. Like, I don't care if there's one or not. Some people are very game master screens need to go the way of the dodo. But it can inhibit voice projecting out to your players. Sometimes the tables being big have to accommodate that. Big tables are good because they can accommodate all your stuff, and you can comfortably fit 6 people around a big round table. Problem is everybody's also then further apart. Sometimes I think if the smaller tables were closer, you could probably talk to each other and just not have to yell because everybody's. And then of course ceiling height has stuff to do with that and everything. But room noise is, oof. That's something uncontrolled by the players and the GMs. It's all about the convention organization. Cypher says, oh, hell yeah, we'll be a Game Hole Con, Sean. Yeah, all right, cool. I'll have to say hi. Stop by and say hi. You guys going to be upstairs with the Monte Cooksters? Imagine Monty usually gets that upstairs area. Jim says, I'm usually happy to cut con GMs a bit of slack because it's hard to put yourself out there like that and give a table of strangers the makings of a fun experience. Yes, unless you're running for us. That's the thing. This is funny. Jim is totally right. I would do the same. I think most of us. It's funny because most of us that play in that off-grid game that bust each other's chops in an on grid, signed up for this game. Here's the game master. They're kind of struggling a little bit because they're nervous. Like, we as game masters will cut them a break, to Jim's point. I think most of us would. But we don't cut each other a break after hours. Gloves are off. Boy, you better be a good game. Right now I could be drinking beer over there, but I'm playing in your game, so let's make this happen. Right. And usually it's the characters in the game that make it unique. He continues, when I've been in a bad con game, it's usually been because of 1 or 2 players killing the tone or not being a team player. Yeah, I go over here and do that. You guys going down there? I'm going to go this way. Oh, split the party. Fantastic. Great. So now I've got the lone wolf going way over here. I'll get to you. Just a second. All joking aside, I find running a con games extremely rewarding. I run at the smaller con in my city and open a lot of events, a lot of eyes to what is possible with RPGs. I agree. Jim continues. That's pretty rare, though. Yeah. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thanks, Laramie. That usually doesn't come from you. Usually it's a Ryan thing. I think that usually gets that prompted. Sometimes Blake. So, yeah, thank you so much for the prompt. If you, even if you don't like this, hit the thumbs down. Go ahead. I don't care. That's cool. It's engagement. YouTube likes it. If you like Sean's hair, hit the thumbs up. If you don't, well, hey, don't be jealous of my boogie. Okay? I've been trying to improve the gaming culture at cons here. Table, tents for names, introductions, what people want out of the game, a mini session 0 to start. Yeah. Get a temp check of the table. Why? Perfect question. Why did you sign up for this game? Some will be similar answers, but at least you'll understand what they're hoping to get out of it. Never played it before. Okay, never played it before. What are you hoping to get out of it? You want to learn the rules? Did you come here to learn the rules or just get an idea of the setting? Well, for me, setting. Rules, Somebody will be there like, I played in a Twilight 2000 game. I told some of the group that's in the chat at GameholeCon one year, I'm like, Twilight 2000. I got like 5 products over there for Twilight 2000. Never played the game. Didn't even play the first edition or second or third. I'm going to sign up. Played it. I read some of the rules because it was a game I was going to run at some point. I knew there was kind of some fiddly bits to it, and the GM just like rolled over some of those. I'm like, oh, dude, really? I was kind of hoping to understand the rules a little bit more. Like that, for me, it was like I wanted somebody that should have had system mastery so I could go, oh, got it. Here's kind of how the whole conflict thing rolls in action. And they didn't do it by the book, which is fine. It was just not what I was looking for in the game. Trying to have some nice whiteboard reusable table tents from an office supply place. That's awesome. I should get that too. Even laminated ones. You can also be a good player. It's all about the game master today, right? Good point, Harrigan. This guy should have a podcast. He should have a blog. Can also be a good player. In those games where it's going sideways for the GM, you can help. Yes. Be prepared for people to give you advice on how to play if you are not playing optimally in certain games. Jim, don't show up to a con game staggering drunk. Unless it enhances your role play. Huh? Am I right? Come on now. Allows me to loosen up a little bit, Jim. Come on. It's true, though. Oh, my God. I probably curse too much, but I found having a person under 20 at the table helps me keep that in check. Steph and I feel triggered when Sean mentioned sexual innuendo. Oh, man. Swearing? I'm a mariner. I'm sorry, I do my absolute best to act like a human being at the table. For those who know me, you could tell me to calm it down. Kristen, get out of here. Kristen was in that Twilight 2000 game. Remember that, Kristen? I forgot about that. This guy. Kristen's on our Discord for months. We go and take a break. He's sitting at the same table. Comes up and talks. Glad you did. Would have never known. Sitting right next to you. That's how I met Nick. Nick in the chat. He was in Michael Curtis's DCC game at GaryCon. That's the first time I met Nick. We've been friends ever since. Scotchy says, if that happens at a meetup, we just try to humor the person unless they're really crossing lines. Then it's just a quiet, hey, buddy, take it easy with X. Yep. But they're spending money for a con? Yes. Right. Yeah, you're like my own prisoner here. There are cons that do way better room control for sound than GHC. Does not surprise me. GaryCon has become really bad, unfortunately, more due to the space they use. That does not surprise me. They just maxed out that venue. And let's admit, hotels, even conference rooms, aren't set up for gaming conventions. They're just not. They're set up maybe for breakouts, but breakouts are not gaming. They're not constant talk amongst everybody. Honestly, if I asked someone to keep it down, check the language, whatever, if they threw I'm paying to be here in my face, I'd give them $5 and tell them they are no longer in my game. I'd agree. Totally agree. Here you go. Here's your $5. You could reset the sound level. I can't remember what con, but if things got really loud, you'd raise your hand and stop talking. Everyone would do this, and it would reduce the noise level. Wow. What? Get out of the town. There are some very verbose game masters. There's some very verbose players. Like we've all been in a room in a convention. All of a sudden you hear the other table and everybody's like, because somebody's jumping on a chair, yelling at the top of their lungs, doing something. Hopefully it's just temporary and not not the norm. Like can the GM kick it upstairs? Upstairs at a convention? Yes, Scotchy. Oh, I might have missed some of the context. GHC also has an attendance policy that includes conflict resolution steps. I did not notice that because I don't read them. Bottle citizen. I've had my son and his friends at many a con growing up, and one of the first things I would tell the adults is it's okay to curse. They've heard it all, and you would see them instantly relax. Yeah. Chris says I had to text someone because of a problem at my table. Someone had a panic attack at PAX U one year. Oof. That's things to be aware of, right? We as game masters are, I think, inherent leaders to some degree, whether we think of ourselves as that or not. So don't be afraid when you go to a convention game and you're a game master, even if it's your first one and something's like not right, call somebody from the con. I would say the only drawback to some conventions and specifically, and even just Gamehole, is I don't know if there's enough volunteers just wandering around. I think they need to have more wanderers, just like in the shirts, just wandering around, floating, specifically around the RPG space, right? Like there's some that do the game, like the all about organizing Adventurers League or whatever. Gary Kahn used to come around with a food and drink cart, which is fine, but they're usually, some of those are like teenage kids of whoever, and they're kind of like putzing around with their cart and, hey, do you want some water? Like, yes, thank you. And it's usually like a GM treat. But I think they just need to wander around just to be present. Kind of like Magic the Gathering. They got judges everywhere, right? Like, hey, judge, just to have them around in case anything happens. Hey, can you come here for a second? Yeah, this guy, here's the deal. This guy's kind of getting strange and I don't really know how to deal with it. And, and sometimes those con folks, I don't know about Gamehole Con. I don't know what they do as far as volunteer briefs and things of that nature. But, at least the organizers should have a good way of kind of tackling some of those things. Which include bringing in a staff member when needed, says Jim. Laramie says, Scotchy, staff probably aren't going to insert themselves, but if a GM bops over an ass, they'll be for sure help. Gamehole Con specifically, Cheap Con also don't F around and will kick people out. Yeah. You just need to think they need to be more accessible. And I know why they probably don't, because they're probably thinned out and they got a lot of things going on and they're doing certain things. But it probably wouldn't hurt to just have these weird volunteer kind of checkpoints along the way. I should probably mention that to Alex. The thing is then that isn't warranted until it is, usually, right? Well, it's working the way it is. We don't have any problems. And when we do, they come up to the service desk. Everybody knows where the desk is. Also, great, Scotchy, great questions. Thanks for bringing this up. Good things for people to know that might just be reading this list. Indeed. I read a blog from Laramie about what he does for GMing at cons. Scotchy, good to hear. And yeah, I get there are various degrees of problems that can drop up. Was just curious to see what the options were. Yeah. Kristen says he has a trunk. Laramie has a trunk. Scotchy, GM shouldn't have to be the entertainment and security, so to speak. They shouldn't. Sometimes we have to be. And that not necessarily security, but bringing it to the attention of the con organizers so they can inject themselves. Let them be enforcers of the policy, right? Nubis, goodness guy. Laramie's blog would be called The Standing Ovation. Oh, snap. He stands up. He brings all the books you could need and he brings a lot of good energy, says Jim. I haven't played in a Laramie game. Maybe that's what I'll do. Kristen, I was 95% sure it was Sean, but I'm so bad at recognizing people. That's so funny. About the Twilight 2000 game. Are you Sean? I am. It says right here. Why do you ask? You're not going to serve me, are you? Who's asking? It's so surprising at how well it works. Tables fight with each other because of sound levels. Yeah. CJ, good to see you. I had to explain to a guy why he couldn't use background music in a room shared by 3 groups playing RPGs. Yeah. Hey, man, you really need that? Oh, he's going to hear it anyway. I was in a small room at a Gen Con with 3 tables, and this one guy had a mini sound system and mic to run the game. We all had to gang up on him and say, really? Ooh, that's hardcore. I'll show these guys. I'm going to bring my own PA system in, and I've got the stuff to do it. Ericon still comes around with a food and drink cart. That's awesome. Pathfinder Society, like a Gen Con, is good about that. Volunteers all over to help out. Yeah. CJ, no, it was that canned fantasy background music. He literally told me, Matt Mercer does it, so why can't he? Woof. What are you doing, man? Because you aren't Matt Mercer. It's a private room. Turn it off. Mind you, I project and have to police my volume, but music is a bit too far. Agreed. Has anyone, Mike says, had a player that was such a problem that they needed to intervene beyond the basics? What did you do? I have not. Anybody answer Mike's question? I have not. I also get probably half the table, at least, I've known. I've probably played with them or before, either at BS or Con Online, maybe a one-shot I've run or played in. Very blessed. I probably consider myself one of the luckiest gamers in the world, honestly. I really do. That's not a toot for my own horn. It's just been so fortunate knowing people that are just cool. And never have had any crazy things happen. Laramie says, Mike, I haven't, but think that's just me being lucky. That's true, too. CJ says, yes, I sometimes remind that this is, at its heart, a game meant to be enjoyed by the whole table. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you play role-playing games. You have problem players. We take care of them. In Russia, we take care of problem players. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm really good at diffusing situations, so I haven't, but I thought I was going to have to a couple times, usually with dudes being creepy, not aggressive. Some of us are loud and can't help it. Know thyself. Orcus, I haven't had to eject anyone, but I have had a couple I would ask to leave my game if they showed up again. Oof. Nick says, at cons, you'll find folks with a lack of awareness, players, DMs, etc. Yeah, that's all over the place. All right, let's wrap it up, huh? Let's wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for the good conversation around con games. Con games. Excellent. Party on. We're at the hour, so let me whip through some stuff, shall we? Let's get into our RPG news. All righty then. RPG news. New Dungeons & Dragons Ethics Seminar takes flight. UC students take initiative on a unique service learning opportunity. On a blistering hot summer day, laughter echoed through the cool, damp basement of Avondale branch of the Cincinnati Public Library. Young teenagers huddled around a table littered with pencils and paper, rolling dice and bonding over a game of D&D. University of Cincinnati undergrad student, Sharitha Anamala. Hope I didn't mispronounce your name. Sat behind a card with a blazing red dragon on it, yada, yada, yada. Anamala, a biomedical engineering student in UC's College of Engineering and Applied Science, probably a program not for knuckleheads, is part of the university's first Ethics and Dragons class. The summer seminar, part of the university honors program, is a multifaceted course that teaches moral reasoning skills through fantasy roleplay. Look at that. Put that on your feel-good things of tabletop role-playing games, things that it accomplishes. Tad, good to see you. No worries. So I thought that was cool and should be brought to people's attention. You can read the article there. Link in the chat. Next one. World of Darkness hires former D&D VP at its new creative director. So with the changes at the Wizards of the Coast, this is Lanzillo, Jess Lanzillo, was a VP. Creative director. She was a former Wizards of the Coast vice president. Yes, there, and she departed. They split. She's no longer at Wizards. Fired, left on her own. I don't remember, but now she is. She previously served as VP of franchise and product for D&D, and also held a creative director role for Magic: The Gathering for quite a few years. Like her D&D experience at Wizards was, I thought, from her background, not. She had more experience in other areas of the company than she had done with D&D. And now she is at White Wolf. New creative director of World of Darkness at White Wolf specifically. So cool. Congratulations, Jess. Figured with all the changes of everything, it's good to kind of track some of these folks and where they're going, what they're contributing to. So there you go. There you go. Next. A little conversation about this stuff. Yeah. Michael says, I believe she was only in the D&D franchise position for about a year. Yeah. Not that says... The only reason I bring that up is some of the others were like Chris Perkins, like retired from Wizards, Jeremy Crawford for a long time. So nothing to take away from Jess. That's not the purpose, but just a different dynamic. Now I hope the best for with World of Darkness. D&D shifts the franchise model. Dan Ayub named as head. So everybody was talking about, what does franchise model mean? Well, it's like McDonald's. Everybody can get their own D&D franchise. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. The question is, if you are like Nubis in Europe, is there a D&D with Keza? Or is it a D&D Royale? No? Nobody? So, former senior vice president of digital games named as the new VP of franchise for the game. He made the announcement on LinkedIn late yesterday, announcing the shift in franchise. And I apologize for his last name. Ayub's words. The new model means that everything related to D&D, books, video games, film, and TV will now live under one roof. Ayub stated that this model will allow a strong, coordinated, and well-funded approach for the franchise. I always said that strength of D&D is the brand. They should put D&D on everything as a company. They should be Gene Simmons, put Kiss on everything. Whether you like it or not, that's what they should do. So if the game sucks, their cigarette lighters are still bringing in a profit or whatever. Licensing, right? D&D on lunchboxes, D&D on coats, D&D on shoes, D&D on Bic lighters, whatever. Throw D&D everywhere. So Ayub comes from video game industry. There you go. Having worked at Microsoft 11 years prior to jumping over to Wizards of the Coast, notably worked on Halo video game franchise for years, working as a studio head and executive producer of 343 Industries. He also worked as an executive producer for Ubisoft and a game director for the Walt Disney Company. There you go. He stated that he was a fan of both D&D and Magic, having played both as a kid. So like many of us, Dan had a break from D&D and RPGs. Now he's back and in the deep end, right? Common theme. Probably should have got into it probably like a few years back, but that's just me. So there you go. Whatever. Bam. Franchising. Get your D&D franchise. It's going to be great. It's going to be huge. I don't know how I feel about this. How do you guys feel about this? Green Ronin crowdfunding legal defense fund and fight against Diamond Distributors. We brought this up before. Diamond Distributors went into bankruptcy, blah, blah, blah. Somebody bought them. They're liquidating. They have product in their warehouse that is on consignment. And if you're Green Ronin and your product's sitting there, they sell the product, you get paid for it, but they didn't buy it. But with the bankruptcy thing, Diamond Distributors was like, well, we're going to sell it and we're going to keep that because, we need to pay and get out of bankruptcy. And well, these game companies, they had a window of opportunity to file a brief to block such a move, but they didn't do it. So, neener, we should be able to do this. I talked about it last week. So how does that affect Green Ronin if their product that they've already spent the money for is sitting in a warehouse that's never going to be sold? Let me reframe that. That's going to be sold, but they won't get any proceeds from it. So they have a GoFundMe. I think I summed that up correctly. They have a GoFundMe to help cover legal fees fighting to get back their inventory from Diamond Comic Distributors and what it describes as a dire financial threat to our company, and not just today, but well into the future. Like, it's just so strange. It's weird because of our hobby. I've mentioned this before. Our hobby is weird. It is just weird. It's weird as in like, well, it's like Green Ronin is probably a corporation, I am guessing, right? Probably an LLC. Not that they are 5,000 person enterprise or publicly traded or whatever and making billions of dollars and have all the money, resources in the world. I understand that. That's the weirdness, right? So it's like, hey, our company could use a GoFundMe like some of the folks that have like, well, a relative of mine just got cancer and doesn't have health care. Can you help them out? Like, hey, they're taking our inventory. So it's raised $17,000 at the time of the writing with over 200 donations, which is good. It's great. It's good. Fantastic. It's just like, it's like a business thing. Weird, kind of. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I mean, I can empathize with Chris Pramus and what his situation is, but man, it's just what a bunch of mud. Yikes. Yeah, there you go. RPG news. In the bundles. Well, we are. I don't know if you'll like it or not. First one's up. The Dark Eye Mega. I don't know, anybody with this? I don't know if this game, does it get enough love? How come nobody's talking about this? Hey, Analytic Dice. The Schwarze Auge. Any interest? Gabe? It's been around for ages. The German, it's the Schwarze Auge. It's the dark eye, right? They resurrected it in 2023, featuring the English edition. Yada, yada, yada. I should probably buy this and take a look at it. I'm totally ignorant to how it works, like the system behind it, things of that nature. No interest. It's not D&D. Are you sure? I don't know if it fits in that same bucket. I'm also very confused that you're not D&D comment. I just don't, because I know what you're getting at, but does that make Against the Dark Master not D&D? Because it's not D&D. Is everything not D&D? I don't know. Gabe, you got to come up with something different, man. I'm confused. I know nothing about the Dark Eye. Well, there you go. I think it's been around. When did it come out? Anybody know? Is it D. Schwarze Auge, I believe? It's Augen RPG. The Dark Eye role-playing game Originally came out first edition 1984. Then the second edition was in 88. Third edition was in 93. So it is the D&D of Germany, I would say, right? Is that a safe assumption? Can I say that? It's translated into Dutch, French, Italian, but not into English in 1984. Very simple class and level system. It was published in Das Schwarze Auge, not die. Sean, conjugate your nouns properly. It's not even conjugating. It's just the proper word, male, gender nouns in Deutsch. Advanced rules were published in 1985 in the book Abentur Ausbauspiel. Interesting. So there you go. Just curious. So I'm not going to find it on analytic dice. Great. Oh, VSD is also a not D&D. Okay. All right. So we're on the same page. Anything evolved ultimately from D&D. Okay. All right. Good. Thanks for the clarification. I'm starting to kind of lose my mind. My friend said it was more rules heavy than Pathfinder. Whoa. I think Dark Eyes basic role-playing based. A lot of the Euro games from that last era took a lot from BRP, RuneQuest in terms as well. I know Mirko has played and isn't running to go back to it. All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, there's the bundle. Here's the other one. Some of you other folks will love. GURPS. GURPS 4E, dude. Uncle Steve. It's going to be a game hole account. Uncle Steve Jackson. My favorite publisher person in the world. GURPS 4E Essentials featuring GURPS, the generic role-play system. Basic set. Adaptation, GM screen, high-tech mass combat. GURPS. Bring GURPS. Make GURPS great again. Come on, GURPS lovers. Where are my GURPS aficionados? GURPS. All right. Bundles. Let's get into print. Print news. Knocking them out. Putting them up. Laying them down. Knocking them out. Sean Punch is the GURPS guy now. Steve Jackson's back to the fantasy trip. Wow. Sean Punch has been around with GURPS for quite some time. Did a lot of the books, right? I'm pretty sure. I recognize the name. I am enjoying playing GURPS, but you couldn't pay me to run it. Why is that not coming up? There you go. And then, of course, Jim says, print news, new One Ring and Lord of the Rings starter sets launching at Gen Con. A few of us have had opinions about the starter set for the One Ring and the adventure in it. Some of us were like, no bueno. So, all right, here's a new one. Releasing on July 31st, Over and Under Hill will sell for $30 and include a poster map, rulebooks, pre-gen characters, tokens, dice, as well as the titular adventure set in the Wilderlands of Northern Eriador. So there you go. So launching at Gen Con, I think, specifically. So, yeah, there you go. Of course, there's other print news, but, you know, I'm biased news. It's 2025. Duh. So, of course. What do you want? Impartial? Come on. Give me a break. All right, Sean. One break coming up. More print news. Tales of Argosa by Steve Grodzicki and Pickpocket Press. Tales of Argosa, Adventure Framework 68, Adventure Framework 67, Adventure Framework 69. 69, dude. Check that out. Next one, The One Ring, Peoples of Wilderland, Moria Through the Doors of Durin. Hardcovers and a PDF. One Ring? Really? Print news? Did they just reprint it? Steve G's adventure frameworks are excellent. I've heard good things. Yes, for sure. I got one for Shadowdark. Not the anthology, or not the framework, but one of the books. Folks didn't like the Hobbit shenanigans? Yes, that was the knock. Yes. Next one, Amazing Adventures Complete Bundle. Amazing Adventures Manual Monsters, free PDF from Trollord Games, makers of Castles and Crusades. Next one, Liminal Horror Investigators and the Parthenogenesis of Hungry Hollow by Space Penguin Inc. Liminal Horror. Next one, Alternate Player's Handbook, Alternate Game Master Guide, Star Drive, Campaign Settings, Star Drive, Alien Compendium, Star Drive, The Lighthouse, Star Drive, Star Compendium. All of the things. Next one, Memento Mori Core Book, not Cookbook. Core Book. By Two Little Mice. I think that's up for a couple Ennies, right? Next one, Lost Eons. 3 booklet pack by the Lost Bay Studio. And Eco Mofos punk cover, Cathedral of Hope, Tower into Elsewhere by Lost Bay Studio. That's it. That's what I got for print news on this channel, folks. I had no interest in Memento Mori until I saw the books. They're really nice. Indeed. Crowdfunding. Suckers. Let's do it. Hang in there. It's almost over. If you leave, hit the like button on the way out, would you? Turn out the like button. Turn out the like button lights. Grim Origins from Jerry Joe Seltzer. D&D 5th edition. It's on Kickstarter, but they don't have a little Kickstarter thingy logo. Where is it? It's not there. Why didn't it embed it? Boo. AI statement. While it may seem a strange selling point in our current climate, I feel it's important to point out that all the art in the book is man-made, and I'm the man who made it. Jerry Joe Seltzer. Next one. Last Train to Bremen from Possum Creek Games on BackerKit. Want to tell stories about doomed musicians and poor decision-making? 13 years ago, these musicians made a deal with the devil, and that bill's come due. Next one, The Kingdom of Lothian. Lothian, a medieval fantasy realm book from Spiraling Productions. Kickstarter. The system is the Book of Lothian. It's designed for the Meteor Tales RPG, but is fully compatible with any game system. There you go. Looks pretty. Bring back the knights. Next one, Hidden Folk of the Feywild from Bramble Heart Games, D&D 5th edition. They don't have any of the little embeds. What's up with that? Some of them aren't Kickstarter, but some are. I don't understand. Somebody fell asleep at the wheel at EN World. Come on, guys. Go over to EN World. Click on their ads. Quest Volume 1 Encounters and Maps. 5e. Tabletop Productions. 11 quid. All art and maps created in this will be by humans. Will be by humans. It's not out yet. 12 encounters, 3 maps. Feed your adventures. Designed for 5e. There you go. That's it. That's it. There you go. Bam, boom, bam. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the conversation. If you see this after the recording, thanks for watching and tuning in and watching it and probably yelling at your screen because you are like going to type a reaction. But you're not live anymore, Sean. Damn it. Damn it. Thanks. Conversation. Thanks for the stream conversation. You bet, Mike. Thanks for being here. Demon Grinder, good to see you. Thanks, Scotchy. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, live. It's a whole nother experience, I think, right? Right. I want to thank all of these fine individuals for supporting me, either as contributors here on the YouTubes or my Patreon. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for being here, keeping me company and contributing to the discussion. I really appreciate it. Really do. Put gas in my tank. Week sucks. Saturday stream. Yeah. Reset. Going from getting beaten down at the workplace to the, hey, it's the weekend, kicking it off, live stream, talking about role-playing games, fellow role-playing game lovers in the chat. So thank you very much. Good to see everyone. Validate parking? I don't. Sorry. You should probably park in the lot down the street. It's a little bit of a walk, but it's cheaper, only $5 for an hour. Glad you asked, Oziel. Appreciate it. But check out this video over here. Check this one out. One of my latest. One of the good ones, I guess, if you have time. Thank you so much. Otherwise, go forth, play games, and take some time to yourself if needed. And I hope to see you next week right here, 8 a.m. Central Time, U.S., live and in person. It's the only way to experience this, folks. And we'll check in on the next one. See ya.